Hi friends, it's Amy. Welcome to my bookish life. Today I want to talk about my March TBR with middle grade March, and I'm going to have some recommendations as well as my own pile of possibilities. So let's get to it. I am so excited to participate in Middle Grade March again. This is a readathon hosted by Krista from Books and Jams, Amanda from On the Middle Shelf, and Katie from Life Between Words. And they have come up with some wonderful prompts in order to get everybody reading middle grade. Now, I love reading middle grade all year round, but I love that March gets me concentrated and focused in it. So I'm excited to give some recommendations as well as talk about the books that I would love to read. First of all, let's start with a group read. The group read, there are two of them. The first one is The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett. And this is a book that I have read and I have loved. I didn't read it until about 2 years ago, and I am so glad that I finally did. It is a wonderful, magical story, even though there really isn't any magic, but it just feels magical, you know? And the other group read is called Moon Garden by Michelle Berry. And this book I hadn't even heard of, but it is a science fiction retelling of The Secret Garden, and absolutely sign me up, right? That is a definite want to read for the month. Now let's go through the prompts. There are 5 prompts. The first prompt is to read a book by an author with 3 names. I have a book by Erin and Trotta Kelly that I have been wanting to read, and it's called The First State of Being. So The First State of Being is a 12-year-old boy named Michael Rosario who meets a mysterious boy from the future, and his life is changed forever. I have loved Erin and Trotta Kelly. Her books are fabulous. I would highly recommend Hello Universe and You Go First. Both of those are delightfully wonderful books, and I would highly recommend them. I also wanted to read We Dream of Space, so I might try to get to both of those, but I'm not sure that I will. Another one that I'm thinking of was actually suggested in some reading sprints that I was in just today. And it was called Spell Sweeper by Lee Edward Foyty. About a dragon song academy. Spends their days practicing spells and wielding wands, but after flunking her 6th grade standardized test, Kara Moon is on the fast track to become a MOP, aka Magical Occurrence Purger. Magical school setting, fantasy, dragons. Apparently, I'm here for that, and that just sounds very cute and was highly recommended. I went on to Libby and found it right away, and I may just be starting with this. We'll see. So then let's talk about some other recommendations I have. Jewel Parker Rhodes is a fabulous author. I absolutely recommend her. One that I really loved was Ghost Boys, and it has a 12-year-old boy who is killed by a police officer who mistakes a toy gun for a real gun, and then he becomes a ghost and he meets all of these other ghosts from the past. Very heartbreaking and absolutely wonderful, and I loved it. Another author that has 3 names that I would absolutely recommend is Mary Downing Hahn. A lot of her books are actually written in the 1900s, which goes along with another prompt. A book that I've really liked of hers is Wait Till Helen Comes. This is about a family that buys an old church and to turn it into a house, and there's a lot of ghostly activity surrounding it. It just is a little creepy. It gives you the goosebumps, but it's really fun, and I love I love middle grade thriller because it's creepy, but it's also really fun. One more. Okay, I can't. I have to recommend. I would be amiss if I didn't recommend Jennifer Chambliss Burtman to you for an author with Three Names. She has written a book called The Book Scavenger, which is this really fun book scavenger hunt game that actually does exist that I didn't realize, but it just, you get clues and you're all going all over the place trying to find it, and then mysteries abound, and it's just amazing. I so love it. Absolutely recommend. And another one that she wrote that I absolutely loved was Sisterhood of Sleuths. And this one, a young girl finds a box full of Nancy Drew books, like old Nancy Drew books. And there's a mystery surrounding these Nancy Drew books. And if you're nostalgic for Nancy Drew books, it actually explores the phenomenon that was Nancy Drew. And if you are somebody that saw kind of the age of Nancy Drew books as you've been reading them currently, there's a lot of discussion in the book about how we look at the world differently than when the books were first written. The next prompt they came up with was flowers on the cover. And I actually have been meaning to read the book Elephant in the Room by Holly Goldberg Sloan, which is an author with 3 names. Just realized that. But there are outlines of flowers, shadows of flowers on the cover. I've been meaning to read this. I've been wanting to get to it. I really, really hope that I can get to it. That Sila has been waiting months for her mom to return home from overseas, but hope suddenly arrives in the form of a kind lottery winner, an intriguing boy from school, and a rescued circus elephant. Their story together is one of friendship, courage, and compassion, and the forming of bonds that will last forever. So it has a found family aspect, and it just, I've heard so many wonderful things about this, and I haven't gotten to it yet. And it's in my classroom, and I want to read it. So there we go. This one is going on the pile of possibilities. And if I was going to recommend a book with flowers on the cover, one that I would recommend is Amal Unbound by Ayesha Saeed. If you've been around my channel for a while, you have probably heard me talk about Amal Unbound. Amal is a young girl who is growing up in Pakistan, and her family is well off, but not well off in terms of money and money worries. And through a series of circumstances, Amal's family becomes more in debt, and Amal especially causes some trouble. And Amal gets in some trouble, and as a result, she ends up having to go to the home of the richest landowner in the area and being there as a servant. And she is devastated. She doesn't really know what to do, how to react, what's going on. She's heartbroken, and her whole life changes because of this one little tiny, should have been insignificant moment in her life. And it just really is a story about resilience and coming together and social justice. And I really, really, really love this book. I love reading it with my students and sharing it with my students. And it has a very beautiful cover and a very large flower right there on the cover. And it's a perfect book for this prompt. And the other book that I would recommend for this prompt is Operation Happy by Jenny L. Walsh. This is about a young girl named Jody, and her father is stationed in Hawaii during World War II, and her best friend is her dog, Happy. Jody lives in Hawaii when the bombing of Pearl Harbor happens, and her life is kind of up in arms. This book is a very beautiful narrative about a girl and her dog, and how focusing on someone else can help you cope with the situation that you are in. And it's absolutely delightful. I really, really liked it. It also does include travel, and that follows another one of the prompts as well. So Operation Happy, I would absolutely recommend. And then the third prompt is a book that comes from a series. And there are so many great middle grade series out there. Mr. Lemoncello's Library is one of them that is absolutely delightful. Vanderbeekers is a great series that I could continue on with that one. Keeper of the Lost Cities is a delightful series. It's about as epic fantasy as I can get, and I absolutely love it. And I'm kind of hoping to finish the latest Keeper of the Lost Cities for this prompt, but I also have the last book in the Mr. Lemoncello's Library series, which is Mr. Lemoncello's Fantabulous Finale. I have that to finish as well, but I kind of want to start The Penderwicks, which is this delightful series about a family, a summer tale of 4 sisters, 2 rabbits, and a very interesting boy that I have just heard wonderful things about and I've never gotten to. So this might be a book that I put on the docket to read, but I do have other series that I need to work on without starting a series. So this might not be the best idea, but you know, hey. Also, Stuart Gibbs is a wonderful author and he writes some fabulous series, but the two that I love are Spy School and Fun Jungle. Both of these are mystery series that really hook my young readers, and I just love them so much. So I highly recommend Stuart Gibbs, and any of his series are great. All right, the next prompt number 4 is travel, and I actually did talk about Operation Happy, which is a wonderful recommendation. The Remarkable Journey of Coyote Sunrise by Dan Gemeinhart is a wonderful story of a young girl that is trying to get to her hometown. It is absolutely a delightful story and just heartbreaking at the same time. Another one is The Getaway by Nick Stone. This book is about a young man named Scoob, and he is going on an RV trip with his grandma, and it is just this delightful little romp through, and I absolutely loved it. And another one that I would absolutely recommend is An Occasionally Happy Family by Cliff Burke. This is about a family that is going on a road trip vacation through national parks, and it is so much fun. It's about a family and the crazy things that they encounter, and it's also very heartfelt because it's a family, and families have issues and problems and they get through them, and that is exactly what this family does. It is so much fun. It's such a good time. I really loved An Occasionally Happy Family. What's going on my pile of possibilities is Wild Ride by Keith Calabrese. There isn't like a ton of travel. They're just going into the big city and driving around. This is kind of like an adventures in babysitting kind of ordeal. If you saw that movie in the 80s that I absolutely loved. Another one that I would love to get to because it was recently recognized by the American Library Association as a distinguished piece of children's literature is Across So Many Seas by Ruth Baer. I'm not really sure what to expect. It spans 500 years following 4 different girls in a Jewish family. All 4 of them are forced to leave their country. And then the last prompt is written in the 1900s. Obviously, the 1900s is 100 years, so there are a ton of wonderful books coming from that time. And I personally would love to recommend Number the Stars by Lois Lowry and The Giver, also by Lois Lowry. Very different books. The Giver is a science fiction dystopian about a community that likes to think that they're perfect, but it turns out that they're not. And Number the Stars is a historical fiction about the Denmark shortly after Germany has taken over, and how one young girl helps to move the resistance forward. And it is both books are harrowing and full of bravery and kick butt main characters, but they're also both wonderfully and beautifully written. Anything by Lois Lowry is just a 10 out of 10. I think that I'm going to be reading Ginger Pie by Eleanor Estes. This is a book that I've kind of been meaning to read for a while and just never have. Ginger is a dog and has disappeared, and the Pie family is trying to find this dog that has disappeared. And I don't know a lot about it, but I've heard wonderful things about this series, and that's really just that's it. I don't really have any other reason for why I want to read it so bad, but I really do. So I'm kind of excited to dig into that one. I am so excited about all the middle grade that I'm going to be reading next month. I'm a little afraid to do my roll of reading prompts because frankly, I don't want to get an adult or YA book. So maybe I will just make all of the adult and YA books middle grade, and we'll just go from there. I'm fine with that. Okay. What is that? 5. We have a blue cover. 4 is Younger Than Me. There's so many options for that. That one's going to be, that's doable. 6 is More Than 300 Pages. I can do that. I can do that. And fantasy. I can do that. Oh man. You know what? Look at this beautiful book I just picked up in the last couple weeks from Barnes & Noble. It is fantasy. Actually, wait, I don't know how long it is. Give me a second. I mean, it looks 334 pages. Okay. Fantasy blue on the cover. Fantasy 300 plus pages. And it is, in fact, Younger Than Me. This is going to be my book for my rule of reading prompt. I mean, this is what my plan is. You know, it could change, but yes. Yes. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited. Oh, look at it. It's so beautiful. It comes highly recommended by one of the 4th graders at my school. So definitely looking forward to digging in to that. Impossible Creatures by Catherine Rundell. This was the Barnes & Noble Middle Grade Book of the Year for 2024. Oh, so excited. All right. Let me know what you are reading during Middle Grade March. I would love to hear from you. Let me know down in the comments. I love chatting with you down there. Commenting, liking, and subscribing really help my channel grow, and I so appreciate you for doing that. I hope you're finding something wonderful today. I hope you're finding something wonderful to read, and until next time, happy reading. Bye.